The boy seemed to find the bedpost's ornate carving extraordinarily interesting, for his gaze never left it. "It's just that, you see, there's—" he stammered. Atlas suppressed a curse. How long was Jamie going to remain in the chamber? "What is it? Spit it out!" Jamie cleared his throat, shifting from one long gangly leg to the other, but showing no apparent inclination to quit the room. "There's a footman here. He insists on waiting for your answer or for you to accompany him." "Accompany him where? Whose footman is he?" Few people knew he was in town, save his friend, the Earl of Charlton, who employed Jamie whenever Atlas travelled abroad. "Is the note from Charlton?" "No, sir." "Then who?" "I'm sure I couldn't say, sir, but his livery. It's the same as the bloke that came last fall." Atlas froze. It couldn't be. "Black and gold livery?" "Yes, sir." Jamie nodded eagerly. "That's it." A bittersweet sensation sliced through his lungs. Black and gold livery could only belong to the Duke of Somerville, Lilliana's brother. Not Lilliana, he reminded himself harshly. Roslyn. Lady Roslyn Lilliana Sterling. The woman he'd been trying to forget for the past 9 long months. Slipping out from under the bedclothes, he touched his feet to the frayed carpet. Unmindful of his bare state, he strode across the chamber and reached for his crumpled clothes. I wonder what the devil he wants. Atlas pulled on his trousers, half skipping on one foot to maintain his balance. Pulling his linen shirt over his head, he slipped out to his sitting room and crossed barefoot into the entry hall, where the Duke's servant awaited him. The polished brass buttons and gold braiding adorning the young man's uniform glittered like twinkling stars against the fine black wool fabric. The footman wore the livery to excellent advantage. He was tall and well made, as were all the footmen in Mayfair's finest homes. Only the best accoutrements would do for the metropolis's highest born. And few births were superior to Somerville's. Even among dukes, he stood at the highest rung, just below the royal dukes. Although, if the rumours were to be believed, Somerville was wealthier than the royals. Atlas took the note and broke the seal. He hadn't recognised the emblem on the previous occasion when the young Duke had written to him, but now the glossy, smooth wax medallion made him think of the man's sister. Somerville had, of course, used an entire sheet of paper to write the short note. Cost was no issue. The missive, written in fluent, confident strokes, bade Atlas to attend his grace at his earliest convenience. Nothing else. No explanation. It was practically a command. Irritation simmered along the surface of Atlas's skin. He wasn't one of Somerville's lackeys. He crumpled the sheet in one large hand, intent on instructing the footman to tell his employer to go to the devil. But he paused. What if something had happened to Lilliana, or one of her children? His resolve to stay away, to put Lilliana from his mind, evaporated like morning dew once the sun broke. He gave the footman a sharp nod. "Inform his grace that I'll attend him this afternoon." Atlas was shown to the Duke of Somerville's library, a massive 2-story chamber tastefully accoutred in soft blues and vivid golds. Books lined the walls in every direction, the shelves almost reaching the ceiling's ornate gilded plasterwork. "You came?" The Duke's clipped voice echoed off the high timbers. He sat in an elegant mahogany armchair, upholstered in velvet the colour of a pale sky, at the centre of the cavernous room. With a pale manicured hand resting on each of the chair arms, he looked rather like an emperor perched on his throne. "Did you assume that I wouldn't?" Somerville regarded him with intense dark eyes. He was a young man in his mid-20s, but he'd been Duke for well over a decade, having come into the title at age 12 after the death of his parents in a tragic carriage accident. "I thought it was a distinct possibility." "One rarely defies a ducal summons." "Something tells me you would if you cared to." The Duke rose and crossed over to a rosewood table bearing